Kia ora team, welcome to season 1 of DayZ. I'm going to dedicate this whole season to Cobra DayZ, whose fault it was, I guess, the way to put it. Thanks Cobra for inspiring me to finally put something together. So here we are, starting with DayZ. And if you don't know, if you're new to this game, PlayStation, then DayZ is a survival game. You effectively have only one save. So, as far as I know, there's numerous servers. The way it works is you have one character on the type of servers, yeah, official servers and community servers and so on. But if you transition from server to server, you retain that character. If you die, and you will die a lot, hopefully, I have, and if you don't, then that means I'm really bad. So when you die, you always spawn back at the beginning point with only your starting gear, and that depends on the server. And when you start as what's called a freshie. So, first off the bat, what I want to do is have a look at some of the basic information. Remember, this is a PlayStation channel, so we're looking at things only in relation to PlayStation. So once you open up, this is where we get to. There's a few things in here. Livonia DLC, I haven't got that yet. Customize character, sure, of course you can. You can randomize down at the bottom, square, like someone else, someone else, so on and so forth. You can actually go through. You have to move up and down with the left stick and hit select. So you're hitting the X button, as it says down in the right hand corner. Obviously male or female, I guess we're all binary here. Head, you can then decide whatever head you're going for, which I guess is also, racial features as well. So you do whatever you like. Tops. Top does kind of matter. I mean, I guess if you're freshly starting out, maybe. I mean, that's probably not good. It's going to stand out a mile away. But, I mean, who's going to shoot a freshie? And what for? You're not going to get anything. So, don't get it. Anyway, if you're going to do that, pick something like that. Hiking pants. So you'll start with t-shirt, crop hiking pants, in whichever design you feel free to go with. Again, something kind of dark would be good, and athletic shoes. Whatever. Some athletic shoes. Probably doesn't matter. And you can then save a character, triangle, and you are now ready to go. You now have a custom character, and we'll talk about what that looks like when you respawn later. There's an introductory video. I'm not going to go through that here. You can if you want. It doesn't really add a lot. It doesn't really help, but it kind of sets the scene. And it's a couple of 5 minutes worth of introductory video, kind of puts you where you're going to be. But there you go. Tutorials. Click on tutorials. This is what you get. So we'll, I guess, quickly run over some of these things. When you start, in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, there's going to be a very important UI. In the UI is going to be these 5 immediate indicators. From the left, hydration, water, how much water you have drunk, how much water you need. Next to it is an apple, that's calories, that's food intake. Sometimes there are products that you can eat and drink which will do both. You'll get both hydration and calories. Sometimes when you get hydration, sometimes you're going to get calories. We're going to have a look at things like that later. Thermal comfort indicator. How hot, how cold. Cold a lot, I would say. But, you have a fire, you sit in front of a fire, you get a chance to warm up. It will quickly go up into the red, and you get lovely and warm. Does matter, because if you get too cold, there's a chance that you will get sick. If you get sick, you will start to cough and sneeze. Now, these are audio cues to both the infected and also other players. If you're trying to camp out a player or something, and you cough or sneeze at the most inopportune moment, you can figure out that's not going to be a good thing. The infected, yeah, will they hear you? Yeah, they might, but they generally hear you if you're moving around too much, and they get too close and they'll see you. Blood level indicator, the sort of a water drop, teardrop. That is when you get cut. So if you get cut by an infected, you get cut by barbed wire, you get cut by a bullet or anything sharp, you will start to lose blood. Your indicator will start to go down, showing that you are losing blood. You lose enough blood, you'll pass out. You lose more blood, you will die. It's that simple. Health indicator on the right is your overall health, which is a factor of a number of things. You can have good blood, dreadful health. You can starve to death. You can bleed to death. You can fall to death. You can be shot to death. A whole bunch of things. You can die a lot. You're going to die a lot. That is what this game is about. Now, over there on the bottom, we've got a couple of arrows. We've got decreasing tendency and very strong decreasing tendency. And the same goes for arrows above. You can get increasing tendency and very strong increasing tendency. What this means is, for example, in this situation is this person has some water. They are yellow, so they've gone from white to yellow, then you go to red. And they're gradually getting more dehydrated. Not superly fast, but gradually working their way down. On the hunger side of things, they've already gone red. They're pretty darn hungry, and they're getting hungrier. A lot of activity, a lot of running around, a lot of various other things that they may be doing is causing that to happen. If we shift over to the next one, melee, it gives us an indication of how to perform melee attacks and the kinds of things you can use for melee attacks. For the PlayStation, to get into a combat stance, before you can melee anybody or anything, you have to hold L2. You then need to perform R2 for a regular attack, or triangle to perform a heavy attack. I haven't used triangle so far. Maybe I should. I don't know. I guess it's probably one of those things like most of these attacks. Your average attack is quicker, but not as hard hitting. Your triangle attack is hard hitting, but a little bit slower. You're going to want to do an awful lot of melee on the infected. We'll cover things like that later. Yeah, always have one if you can. They don't always work out. I was killed by a bunch of wolves. You can't. Well, I couldn't melee the wolves. I had a knife, and the way wolves attack, it just made it too hard, and I bled out, and that was it. And wolves just eat you. We'll talk about what happens when you fall unconscious and so on later. But you can see at the bottom we've got fire axe. We've got that character's holding in front of us. You've got a small axe on the ground. You've got what looks like a trenching shovel, lead pipe, a combat knife maybe, a hammer. You've got some kind of cooking knife, butcher's knife. You've got a regular pit shovel. You've got a sledgy. There's other things. There's cleavers. You can use a whole bunch of stuff. Some of them more effective than others. I tried with a shovel one time. I don't know. It didn't seem to work very well. I don't know what the story of that was. Guns. So, if you're lucky, you're going to find some guns. And if you're really lucky, you'll figure out how to find magazines and ammo. And if you're super lucky, someone like me, who has died trying to figure out how to load a gun, will explain to you the complexities of trying to load a gun, if you can. I have to say, I haven't had many guns yet. It's something I'm working up to. We'll talk about that in a minute. You need to hold L2 to aim, or apparently you press it to aim through the iron sights, and you can modify that using R3, and you shoot with R2, as far as I'm aware. Now then, these are the infected. Look, infected, zombies, I guess they're not really zombies. They are infected. They're not falling apart. Bits of them are hanging off. They're just like super crazy old people 9 times out of 10. No infected kids. I guess that's probably tasteless. But there you go. Yeah, they will attack you on sight, and if they hear you. And as it stands, I'm playing on version 1.20, or will be. They can kind of see you and hear you from quite a distance. I don't know how this changes at night. I've run around in the night, and I've been killed in the night. But without night vision goggles, I haven't had a clue where they are. Running around at night, traveling at night, it's a whole new kettle of pain. Inventory. Now, there's some interesting things in the old inventory, and the way the inventory works. Obviously, on PC, the inventory works in a kind of a click, drag, and drop basis. So you click from one side, you drag, you drop it in the middle, you drop it on the left, and so on. So what we're looking at from left to right is left is the vicinity, or whatever the object you're looking at. So you might have come across a tent, a barrel, you might even just be standing in a house, which is where vicinity comes from. And you click on your inventory button, which is the touchpad in the middle, and it will tell you what's in the vicinity. And those are things you can have a look at. And just to note there is two numbers there. There's a number at the top, a number at the bottom. The number at the bottom is the number of items, and the number at the top is how much space it will take over in your inventory, because inventories have a capacity. In the middle you've got hands, and over on the right hand side you've got all of the stuff that you are currently carrying, wearing, that is about your person. And we'll cover some of that later, because like I said, it works a little bit different than we'll see on PC. Down in the left hand corner there's a couple of other things. There's this manual skills meter focused on precision or strength. I have to say, bit of a mystery to me that I've not come across what value that is to be yet. I guess maybe at some point it will, but I guess we're looking at the kinds of equipment that we have equipped, perhaps, whether we're focusing on precision or strength. And one below that is your stamina bar. And your stamina bar is important because, of course, you're going to be running around, you're going to be walking, you're going to be performing activities, and the more equipment you carry, the heavier things are, the less stamina you have. The less stamina you have, the less far you can run. So if you need to run away from people, or you run away from infected, you're just trying to get from A to B before you starve to death, or whatever the situation is, you're going to need stamina. Heavier gear, more gear, weighs you down, you move slowly. I mean, stands to reason, right? And this is just something that happens in a lot of games. Yeah, we'll go over inventory later, because it's tricky how things work, and there's some strange things going on I haven't fully figured out, and hopefully you and I will figure it out together. Loot, yeah, it's stuff lying around. Not a lot of stuff in a lot of cases. I play in churners. I don't have Livonia, so I'm just playing on the base maps on the official servers, and it's a lot of places are empty of anything worthwhile. But you know, there's another melee weapon. There's a wrench. There's a stilson, as you call it, a pipe wrench. You can smack people with that, sure. What we got there? Maybe some pills, tins of things, maybe some jars of jam. You got a sledgy. You got what appears to be some kind of a pistol, and you got a hiking bag, which is, you know, lovely bright orange for people to shoot at. Then down here we've got controls. Gives you a brief overview of what you're looking at. Like I said, combat stance, hold L2, that means hold it down obviously. Free look, hold L1. Zoom, L1, L1, don't know what that means. Next option, up. Yeah, when have I had... Oh, yeah, we'll talk about next options, because that depends when you're looking at things on the ground. Specifically, for example, I'm thinking about whether you want to create a fireplace or make a hand drill to create a fire. Gestures, yeah, I've been killed by 2 players so far, and I didn't have time to give any gestures. They just jumped me, beat me up, and one-shot me. Move is left step up and down, and toggle sprint is L3. You'll probably use that a lot. There's a new control scheme which we'll talk about. You can click that. Changes the camera and the throw. Yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. Throw's a bit weird. I mean, I haven't used it for things, but you know that's because I haven't got any hand grenades or I haven't any needed throw flares or anything like that. R2 is your general use button. R1 is quick start, so we'll talk about that. That is important. I wish I knew about that sooner and earlier in the game, and I have to say I keep forgetting about it. You've got to be a master of quick starts, because on PlayStation, accessing things like weaponry quickly, oh man, it's an absolute must. You gotta get it done, and you gotta master quick starts. Me too. But anyway, there we go. Hold reload. This is pretty good actually. Not quite sure exactly 100% how it works, but let's say you have, and I've done this before, got a 12 gauge shotgun, load it up with some 12 gauge, and you offload on, I don't know, wolf, infected, whatever. You need to reload quickly. You just hit triangle and automatically reloads, but it doesn't automatically reload everything from your inventory. So it's a bit of a weird one, and it's one I'm going to be exploring a little bit, hopefully later. Interactive square, you'll see that pop up a lot. Drop is hold square. You'll need that a lot because you'll be limited inventory space, and you want to drop things from time to time, and you also want to drop things to interact with them. We'll talk about that. Throw, L1 and square. Haven't tried it. If you use the alternative, it's square and square, which is a bit weird. So I can see why someone would want to use that. Change stance, circle. That is to do with standing, crouching, and crawling, and that obviously changes your noise profile. And we'll also talk about that in the basic stuff as well. You got jump, you got lift, you got some. In combat stance, you press L2 and L1, allows you to lean. We've got 0 up, 0 down, change fire mode, move hold breath if you're leaning towards your breath to take a shot. R2 is shoot, R1 lean to the other side. Reload special attack. Haven't needed to use that. I assume that's if you have like an underslung grenade launcher, maybe. Change stance optics mode. Again, you might have some kind of a range finding scope, night vision scope, a bunch of other bits and pieces like that. You've obviously got R for aiming, and you've got switch aiming. I believe that's switching shoulder aim from point of view, so looking over left or looking over right. Inventory, yeah, it's not quite as simple as what this would make it out to be. And there's a lot to this which doesn't really make sense unless you're doing it. But they are the controls, and we'll talk about those later. Vehicles, never been in one, don't know how to get one, don't know how to make one work. I'm sure it'll be there somewhere. And the menu side of things. This is just navigating your menus and things. Even obviously this is touchpad, and so you're going to get to use that a lot. Push to talk, yeah. Again, I tried talking to the 2 players that killed me. They just killed me. Don't know. Let's see. I mean, I guess that's DayZ, or DayZ as they call it. Finally, you get some options here. You got some game options, audio options, video options, and control options. Yeah, look, it's the usual kind of stuff. You just work through it if you want to work through it or not. We've got bleeding indication enabled. Let's just you know, whether you actually see blood on the screen or not. Connectivity warnings, the thing here, the thing to bear in mind on the servers you're connected to, obviously. These appear in the kind of mid top left hand side. So we'll have a look at servers in a minute, but you know, the issue is here, obviously, you can't actually see the ping. Well, it'd be great if we could, but you can't. So the issue is here that this is the warning that you will get. I've seen it on one server I was on, and obviously, you know, you don't want to be laggy. You don't want to lag the server, and it's no fun when you're playing and things are lagging about and all kinds of stuff. So be aware of that. That's probably the main thing. Right, so let's get into it. You hit play, and this is what you get. So this is your server browser. At the start, obviously, favorites is nil. You don't have anything in there, and there's two other tabs. There's the official tab and the community tabs, which is, yeah, I don't know. For PlayStation, I don't know. I haven't even gotten into this. There's 185 pages, and they've all got different names, different codes. Most of them look like they've been, you know, low, empty, low. It's probably, you know, a small teams of people or one or two people just mucking about. So I'm going to be staying on the official side of things for this series. I'm going to be having a look at all the official stuff. Now, what I don't get is, so if you can see up at the top here that you have L2 and R2 right above the server list. You hit R2, taking over the filter side, and region. So, and it's X to change. So there's every single region, all obviously, and you have to hit square to refresh. Right, 154 servers found, 7 pages for all. Now, I'm kind of assuming you don't see ping, but I'm kind of assuming that the closest servers are at the top and the furthest further away, AP, Asia Pacific, I reckon. And then you got down at the bottom here, you got EU. So if we go back on the filters, then we change into the Americas. Now we hit square. Then we get SA, US, a whole bunch of stuff. If we go back over and we hit Europe, hit square for refresh. Yeah, DE Europe. So for me, I am in good old sunny New Zealand. So I need to be on the Asia side. I don't have Livonia, so I've disabled that. You can muck these about, so you can like show if it needs Livonia, hide if it needs Livonia, or this is a disabled filter. Now I tried this before. Let's just refresh it with the square. There we go. Now then, nobody's full. It's alright. So, do we have any Livonia stuff over there? I guess that is. No, this is the Livonia stuff down here. DayZ Livonia AP. So if I hit over that and I change that to hide, refresh, they should go away. Yeah, there you go. Right, so I'm not going to be playing this. So the other thing is it full? There's no full servers there yet, so it doesn't matter. Password. Wow. Yeah, okay, but none of them are password. Whitelisting. I haven't got a clue. Don't know what that means. Mouse and keyboard. Well, I'm not playing with a mouse and keyboard, so I mean, I guess you could, but I'm not. Not tried it. Not doing it. Don't know how that transition. Sometimes PlayStation acts funny with mouse and keyboard, but hey, if you're playing PlayStation mouse and keyboard and it's working for you, then just take a reboot. But I'm not. I'm just playing with the standard controller. So that leaves for me, if I go back over here, these are all the servers that I got. I'm assuming SG0006 is the closest thing with the best ping, and if I hit refresh, still there. So you get 6, 24, 42, 62, 169, 172. Yeah, nothing changing on that, at least not quickly. So I assume it's fairly stable. Don't know. And I assume that is why this has got the highest amount of players. 60 slots. I don't know what high means. I don't know if it's like 2/3, 3/4, 8/10. I have no idea. But it means there's a lot of people, and obviously, depending on the game you want to play. If you're going PVE, you want to go explore, you want to set up bases, you want to do things. Probably not your bag. If you want to do PvP, that'll be your bag. If you want to take it easy, stroll around and don't bump into people because you're trying to sort yourself out, go for a little one. But I mean, in reality, the maps are huge, so what are you worried about? I have been probably really honestly the favorite SG0006, this triangle. So it takes, you need to hit refresh, refresh over. That's fine for me. 24. 24 is medium. So we're going to start out on 24. And that is where this part is going to end. So I will be starting the season proper, spawning in as a freshie on DayZ AP SG 0024, down there in the bottom, version 1.20.155.766. And we'll go through surviving the first hour, if we can, and see how we do, and see where we get to. And I'll cover a few of the things, a few of the basic things as part of that hour. So we're probably not going to get very far, but we'll see exactly where we get to. Okay, so I'm going to just click out of that for now. This is my guy. I will see you next time for Season 1, Episode 1, DayZ, A Freshie's Begin.